Hello and welcome to Lipper Come Together podcast. My name's Sharice Weaver and I'm the Head of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion at the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts, or as it's better known, Lipper. If you're not familiar with Lipper, we are a world-leading provider of university-level performing and creative arts training, an international community of creators, performers, technicians, filmmakers and business people who learn by working together on fully realised projects and productions. During this series of podcasts, we'll be celebrating the creative work and cultural scene in Liverpool and here in Lipper. And we'll be chatting to cultural organisations and leaders, artists and performers as we consider how art can make a difference to all of our lives. Hi, Parris, and welcome to Lipper Come Together podcast. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. Finally!
Yes, well...
We've made it work.
Yes, we've been trying for a minute.
I know, I'm very busy.
You are so busy. We cannot keep up with you. So the way we normally do this is we start with some quick fire questions.
Go for it. I'm thrilled.
So the first quick fire question I would like to ask you, Parris.
Yeah.
Because I do love the second name.
Okay.
I love the whole title. So. Anyway, is if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Easy. So in West Indian culture, there's a Trinidadian meal called a roti, which is kind of Indian-y based. It's like a dough kind of rolled out, and then you can put different like potato or chicken or chana or shrimp or whatever, anything put in it, and then you fold it all up, and then you can buy it on the streets in Trinidad. You can buy it in a restaurant. No, impossible. It's you have to learn it for over time.
Yeah.
But if I'm ever in London,
Yeah.
I'm going to find a good roti, and it's actually quite hard to find a good roti because everybody's making them, but everybody thinks, oh, mine's the best, and no.
So when you do find it, let me know, because I'm going to take you to a nice Caribbean restaurant.
There's one in Finsbury Park, literally outside Finsbury Park train station, called the Roti Hut.
Okay.
And I go there because it's literally tiny, but it's done by Trinis, and it's just magic. Yeah. So that.
Okay, so my next question to you is, what is your favourite memory of either Liverpool or Lipper?
Oh, memory. I think it's meeting Sir Paul the first time.
Okay.
Just because it's Sir Paul McCartney and he's hilarious.
Yes.
And he's so down to earth and he's just so normal. And, you know, obviously the Beatles have historically inspired so many people, so many filmmakers, so many music people, and you know, he comes in once a year and he's just the most sweetest man ever.
He is,
so yeah,
I actually did get the pleasure of last graduation, and he did say in front of a group of people that he will be doing the podcast. So
nice.
Maybe to call in.
Oh, that's amazing.
And get some of his story. I think that would be great. So next quick fire.
Yeah.
What sets your soul on fire, Carl?
Music.
Yeah.
Music. I love literally I love all kinds of music, but I grew up listening to, you know, funk and soul and Earth, Wind and Fire and everything under the umbrella of, you know, funk, soul, groove. So yeah, that's... But then I also love classical music. I love opera. I love jazz. I love jazz bands. I love jazz singers. I love rock, pop, you know, a little bit of house, a little bit of garage. I can listen to anything, you know, rap, for good quality rap, you know, well written, you know.
We won't say nothing about some of the rap that we hear these days.
Yeah.
But I agree. And my final quick fire is, who is your positive male role model? Because today I think we're going to talk about being a male dancer and a male black dancer.
Okay.
And what that means and some of the barriers and things. But who would be your male positive role model, seeing as we've just had International Men's Day as well?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because I look at so many different kinds of people, male and female, but male positive, I would say, I mean, first person that's coming to my head is Bob Fosse, the choreographer. just because I think I'm probably the most inspired by his technique, by his visuals, and he's probably the only choreographer that I know of that the work is still used
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
And it's on adverts, it's on the new Swarovski advert. It's everybody goes back to his work, and his work's not massive.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 5 films, you know, Chicago, Cabaret, Sweet Charity, Pippin. There's only a little bit of work, but those works are
impactful,
ginormous.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
I definitely seen a bit of Fosse in Beyonce.
Everybody's used it. Everybody, you name it. Madonna couldn't have done. Well, Madonna auditioned for him, and she didn't get the job. Yeah.
Wow,
So when she was first coming up, they were going to make a Chicago with her and Liza Minnelli back in the 80s. And she auditioned, but she didn't get the gig, and they actually didn't. It was Goldie Hawn and Liza, but then they lost the money.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
what a story.
People backed out.
On to your story, Carl.
Yeah.
I'd like to really hear about, you know, how you came into dance, what inspired you, and your journey, because I know you've been involved in so many productions and so many things. Every time I speak to you, there's something else that you've done
that drops out.
Wow, what haven't you done, and who haven't you worked with? Because I've seen some amazing pictures of some of the amazing people that you've met, that you've worked with, and it just sounds like the most amazing journey, Carl. And you're still...
I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it. My journey is very different to a lot of other men.
Yes.
And a lot of other gay men, a lot of other black men. To this day, I don't know how I got away with not being bullied. I don't know how I got away with never having the most supportive parents ever. And also when, you know, coming out at 16, not being rejected. It's literally the opposite story to every other person I've ever known, you know, that had, you know, they were fighting to kind of still have an identity, but then the parents were like, we don't want to know you, we're going to disown you. Yeah. I had none of that. I had complete love and support. Started dancing at the age of 4. I was on Sylvia Young's agency from age of 6. I was working for Sylvia. I was at my local dancing school, who was at the time way ahead of her time, like phenomenal teacher, phenomenal knowledge. She's the one that introduced me to Fosse. I think I was probably 10 or 11. Wow. So yeah, it's a journey that I'm very, very lucky, and I'm so blessed, because there was no barriers. At all. None whatsoever.
I've got to say, I've never ever heard that.
Exactly.
Not from a black man or woman.
Yeah.
A gay.
Yeah.
Black man or woman.
Yeah.
I've never ever ever heard that, and that is so refreshing.
Yeah.
And actually so beautiful.
It's literally, because I've been teaching 37 years and I'm in the industry for over 40 years. It's a one-off story, and I don't know how I've been that blessed and that lucky, you know, just have the most loving parents who were doing everything, creating costumes, helping build set. You know, I've got 3 older siblings who also were kind of in the industry as well. So I came along 14 years after the last child, and they were like, and I'm the one that's like really driven and really focused, and they were like, okay, this one is serious, because the other 3 kind of did a little bit of the dancing school thing, but then they went off and did their own thing, kind of normal when you're kind of 15, 16, you kind of step away. So
I'm intrigued to know a little bit about your parents, about their backgrounds. And
both from Trinidad and Tobago, came over whenever they came over. Mum was a district nurse. Dad worked for British Telecom as kind of one of the engineers. So kind of middle class, kind of lived in a beautiful house, lived in a beautiful area, Ilford in Essex. And there was no struggling. There was no, because they're really good with money. They were really just very focused parents. Yeah. incredibly focused, and the detail in our house and the cleanliness of the house, and everybody had chores to do, and it was like, there was discipline, but it wasn't fearful.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Healthy.
respectful, healthy,
Yes.
respectful discipline
Yes.
for all the kids, and joy and funny and hilarious and the driest humour ever. Sarcasm, all of us. You had to fight.
Yeah.
If you were being picked on that day, everybody was jumping in. So you had to fight to kind of have an opinion and have to.
It really sounds like you had such an amazing upbringing, an amazing
stunning.
family.
Yeah.
To have that kind of support, just to set you up on your journey to do all of the amazing things that you've gone on to do. And I'd like to go on to some of them. Just saying that Carl has just recently starred in the amazing Wicked.
Parts 1 and 2.
Oh, 1 and 2, okay.
Yeah.
And there's so many other things that you've been a part of. So if you just give us a little flavour of some of the productions that you've been a part of.
So last year shot an episode of Game of Thrones, enormous scene, just like gigantic. So that's through somebody that I've been known for 25 years, called Francesca Janes. So Fran Janes is a movement director, she's a choreographer, she's done all the Tim Burton films in the last 10 years, and Fran's known me, for ages. So if something's coming up that you're right for, she'll give you a call, and when you see that name come up on your phone, it's something big. She's offering you a big job.
Yeah.
So prior to that, my first thing with Fran was Steven Spielberg's AI.
Oh, wow.
With Jude Law. My job was to teach Jude Law to tap. So me and him in the studio for a couple of days and talking about Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and all the kind of iconic, because he played this kind of android who kind of was suave and sophisticated and could tap dance. And so Fran brought me in to do that. Then I worked with Jack Black for Gulliver's Travels, and I was assisting her on that and had to work with him, myself, and a guy called Matt Dempsey, who's actually a Lipper grad from original back in the day, Lipper. So we worked with Jack Black, and then we worked together with Fran on Muppets, and that was crazy because Muppets is all about getting as many cameo people into the film as possible. So we had P. Diddy, we had oh god, I'm trying to think of people, Saoirse Ronan, I had to do a pas de deux with Saoirse Ronan. It was crazy, just so many people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like being like that, but it's at the end of the day, they're people and they're professionals, and everybody's got a job to do.
Yes.
And you've got a responsibility of getting the work done, regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
And obviously on Wicked, I didn't really have much to do with them, but obviously we were all in the same scene with Cynthia and Ariana, and we were chatting on set and kind of, having a laugh and all that kind of stuff. And they are trying to get the best work out of what's happening that day as well, so everybody has a chat and you go back to your, preset and you shoot and you carry on. So, but my whole life has been like that ever since I was a kid, just being around, iconic people. I can remember doing fashion shows at probably 6 or 7 years old for Alders of Croydon. There was a company called Pippa D, which was a children's clothing company, and I was kind of one of the main children that would do, we stayed at the Dorchester, we stayed at Claridge's, we stayed at me and my mum stayed at the most incredible hotels while we were doing those kind of little kind of tours for Pippa D fashion line, which was crazy, amazing stuff. So I've always been around kind of the higher end of the industry, so it doesn't faze me. Obviously get excited. Yeah. You get excited and you get like, oh, so and so, Christoph Waltz, having to kind of teach Christoph Waltz to waltz, a week before he wins his Oscar. It's just mad. It was,
So who's your favourite person, I suppose, or what's been your favourite production?
Awesome. The one that's jumping in my head is Emily Blunt.
Okay.
So on Gulliver's Travels, Fran had us in a room like about 5 a.m. in the morning. They said that we're going to have to teach the principals this combination that we do in the finale. And it was she said, well, who wants to teach? Well, I basically went up to her and said, can I have Emily Blunt, please? And because I'd just seen her in Devil Wears Prada and completely fell in love with her.
Yeah.
And one of my friends had James Corden, and another friend had Billy Connolly, and another friend had Catherine Tate. And she was more than I could expect. She was the sweetest lady ever, and she was, calling me by my name and, Carl, let's go and do that section again. And so that was really when they're like that.
Yes,
it's a really nice experience, to have them, and because I think celebrity can read people really well.
Yeah,
they can feel energy really well. So, and I think I bring a really good
authenticity.
Calm, chilled, fun. So Emily Blunt was fun because I love that film, and I think anything she's ever in, I'm just like, she was amazing.
Production-wise, what's your favourite production that you've been involved in?
Cats, the West End show. It's a well-known story that for 7 years I auditioned to get into the musical.
Wow.
From age 17 to age 23, 24, whatever age I was at. Going back every year, kind of, here I am again, and doing the routine, getting down to the last two and then not getting the job and then going back again and doing it again. And it's about perseverance. And a lot of the time when I got the job, they said, do you know what, we loved seeing you every year grow and grow and grow.
That's amazing.
But we couldn't give you the job because we weren't actually looking for boys at that time, but we had to officially put it in the Stage magazine, and kind of we had to advertise because Cameron had to look to be fair, so that Cats was everything and more when I got into that show, and I was there for 2.5 years.
So that brings me on to the question of what you just said there, which was about boys, about they weren't casting boys. As a male dancer,
right?
For you, what you said about your upbringing and your family and everything, there's been no barriers there, but as a male dancer, how has that been? Because that story right there, 7 years of auditioning because you really want, I mean, that's some determination, isn't it? Because that would knock a lot of people back. I keep going and but I will say myself, I'm very similar. I kept auditioning for to go to university to do drama and dance, and every time I get knocked back, it just makes me keep,
absolutely,
and
you have something to prove.
And I think as performers, as artists, you have that determination.
I don't know if everybody has it.
No, everybody doesn't.
I don't think everybody has. It's a I don't know. I think it's part of growing up in. I think once again you have to put it back to. I grew up in a house where everybody was supportive.
Yes.
So there was no doubts, there was no, and I came from, my brothers and sisters knowing influential people. So I was in a house with, guests would come over who would be owning restaurants in the West End, or people that were choreographers already in the West End. And so these people were around me.
Yes.
My sister was a hairdresser trained by Vidal Sassoon. And all that kind of stuff. So it was like we were in that kind of circle. Would
you say that then that would give you some confidence then because
massive.
You had... So just to say that my journey was very the opposite to that. I was the first to go to university, the first to, work as an actress and on TV and stuff like that. And all the things that you talk about that weren't, and I had all of them barriers. But for some reason, it gave me that impetus to keep pushing, keep trying, keep pushing.
I still think it doesn't matter what your journey has been. You still have to work incredibly hard.
Absolutely.
Because it's nothing was handed to me.
Yes.
Now it is. Now I'm, I get a phone call going, do you want to do this? But
you've earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But before that, nothing is given to you on and I still don't take it for granted. It's doing Wicked, doing Game of Thrones, doing all those films are gifts.
Yes.
They're literally a gift because I'm not hunting for it. I'm very happy teaching because I know I teach well. And then if I do get a phone call going, are you free? Are you available? I'm going, let me try and move the pieces and see if it's going to work. And then I'm going, yep, let's do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I can't, but being very, very, very lucky that everything has been on the right side of the road for me.
Yeah. So just going back to talking about male dancers, in particular, because we know that the stats, the data shows us,
It's, well, I would say, Wick is going to come out tomorrow, and Jonathan Bailey is playing a lead role, and he's really trying to push at the moment his dance. He's talking to people going, it's okay to be a male and dance on film, because his dancing, when you see it, is unbelievable. Like, I never knew he could dance like that. And all his interviews, he's been talking, well, I did ballet for 5 years. And still, interviewees are laughing at him.
Wow.
Yeah.
In this day and age, that's crazy.
Literally this week.
Wow.
This week, people are going, oh, you did ballet? And I'm like, why is that even an issue? It's an issue.
I don't understand that.
And that's a lead. That's a white man.
Yeah.
You know, a lead in a #1 epic movie about to release, and there's still there's a stigma about it. So if you are a boy growing up in a rural town and you're going, God, I really want to do ballet, but if anybody hears, anybody in school, anybody in your family, your father,
yes,
is going, why's my son doing this? Why is my son doing ballroom? Why is my son doing? And you hope, I would hope that they're having so much dance on TV. I've seen, Strictly is on television and male dancers are being applauded, and people are still thinking it's not a job, or it's not for men to do, or it's not a good career move, or,
Yeah.
And you think, well, West End theatre, Broadway theatre has been surviving for 70, 80, 100 years with male lead roles. Everybody who goes to see Phantom of the Opera, I bet you that guy has done a few ballet classes in his life, or whoever the leads of the shows are. They've had to, whether at the drama school or acting school, they've got to do some kind of movement, to kind of be comfortable in your roles. Every opera singer, male, has to do some kind of movement, to lie over the back of a sofa and sing their high notes and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
So what do you try to instill, or what do you tell the male dancers that you're teaching? What do you try and give them of your experience? Because I know from some of the dancers that I've spoke to, one of my best friends, he was an amazing hip-hop dancer. I did mention him in another podcast, Jamila Siji. And I know when we were growing up, he struggled. He was absolutely loved Michael Jackson. But he struggled coming out.
Right.
Again, black, male, gay. But he was naturally... you get dancers that have just got that natural.
They've just got it, yeah.
He had it, and his journey was really difficult because he came from a Nigerian family,
of course,
really strict.
Yeah. I mean, religion's got a lot to do with it, in the negative sense, and just not understanding. I spend a lot of time talking to the boys. I mean, I think if a boy is at a place like this, the parents get it. The parents understand. It's a lot of money, and I think that the boy that's doing it has already kind of been to a sixth form, been to a dancing school, been having that journey, or been to gymnastics, or been whatever their journey has been. So by the time they get to 18, 19, 20, the family's going, okay, this is what this person has decided to do because they're at higher education. So let's see what happens in the outcome. As long as they've got the mental power to deal with the rejection, because rejection is part of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, and that's what I talk about. I said, it's going to be rejection. You're not going to get the first job you get, and also you have to remember when you go to a casting, there's 70, 80, 90, 100 guys in that room, with bodies or with facility or with a better voice than you. And I've said, there's always a better dancer than me. There's always been a better singer than me. There's always been a better looking person than me. But I still work.
Yeah.
So don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't put yourself cut yourself off before you've even done anything.
Yes.
Go in the room, be a gladiator, get on with it, and fight the good fight and see what happens. Comes out at the end. And that's all you can say to kids today.
Yeah, I think one of the things on my own journey, what I learned going for lots of auditions, is that half the battle is just turning up. Just being
get in the room.
in the room.
Get in the room.
And it's like any business, they will buy into the person before, and then if you've got the talent and everything else to go with it, that's a bonus. But they already know from the minute you step in that room.
They're looking at you from the minute you've walked in the room, and what you're wearing,
everything,
who you are connecting with in the room. If you were polite to the people before you actually got in the room, who took your CV and photo, because I tell a lot of stories about they can be. The person taking your CV and photo could actually be the director or the choreographer. And if you came in that room with an attitude with the person that's taking your kind of CV and photo, and then you just get in the room and you just suddenly discover that you were rude to the choreographer, the director, the producer, it's all over. It's done.
Absolutely. And another big thing, isn't it, is about being on time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I learned a few lessons. But then what I did learn is, like what you said, because you earn your stripes, is that I got to a point where I would turn up at an audition and they would literally see me come in and they'd call me in first. Because they know I'd travelled, they know I was on time, and they knew
I love being early and being nosy and seeing how they set up the room and who's there that day, and they always can tell who's early because as they're walking in to kind of set themselves, you go, "Hi, morning," and they're like, "Oh, Carl Parris is here early." And
people remember that. Definitely. And another thing I noticed is that when I'd be on set, other people would say to me, "Oh, I've just seen you in something else," or which is really nice because people are now getting to know you as that person. I mean, one of the things that I don't know what happens, but by the end of whatever I'm working on, I'll just end up, like I call it, giggle fits. And the whole of the cast and the crew, and everyone's giggling, nobody even knows what they're giggling at for. It's what you bring, isn't it, as a person?
It's an energy. If you don't have the right energy, people will work with you because they have to. They have to do the job, and then at the end, you might not hear from them ever again if you don't have the right energy. But if they've got the good energy, they'll go, "Oh, there was a time when I auditioned for a show, I was in the rehearsal room, and off the rehearsal room, I got 2 jobs."
Wow. See?
Because there were other people in the room that had nothing to do with that show, but they were friends of friends.
Yeah. And
literally was out doing the job in Sweden, and I got a phone call to do the Superstar film.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I was like, do you need me back to audition? And they're like, no, we've already seen you do everything we need.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it? I'm like, absolutely. Ching, done.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with today? Is there any nuggets of advice you would give? Because I know also you're a triple threat. Yeah. You do it all, don't you? Just tell us.
Well, I've been singing my whole life. I love singing. I'm a published singer.
Wow.
Wrote my own songs and published with a good friend of mine who I did Cats with. I would say just be nice to everybody, and try and not to hold any grudges. Nothing's personal. It's just because you weren't right that time, that day.
Yes.
It just wasn't your time to kind of get that gig.
Yeah.
But always go back and try again, and work on whatever you think, if you can get feedback, which isn't always easy, but if you can go back and with a different mindset, with maybe have worked on your vocal, worked on your technique, or worked on your whatever it is, whatever skills that they were looking for on the day, just go back fresh, start fresh.
Yeah.
Don't hold any grudges, don't go in with an attitude, because they can read it.
Yes.
They can read it in seconds.
Yeah.
Chip on your shoulder, ego, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
It's not good. It doesn't do anything for somebody, especially men, because there's so many out there. There's so many guys, so many talented men out there, and if you bring in a negativity, they'll just go, "Okay, thank you very much," and be very nice about it.
Yes.
And then you hear nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, Carl, it's been absolutely lovely having you in today to do the podcast. I wish you luck in everything else that you're going to be doing. Can't wait to see Wicked.
Yeah, out tomorrow.
Yes, it is out tomorrow. And yeah, I just wish you the best.
Thank you
honestly.
very much.
Thank you for coming in, and I'm loving the Wicked jumper as well. Just
Thank
give
you.
a little flash to the camera. There's
In
a little
cinema.
story behind that as well, isn't there?
Yeah. Friend of a friend.
Yeah, but we won't get into that today. It's been absolutely lovely and a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. So thank you very much.
Thank you.